Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's live. As you guys are coming in, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, it helps get more people in the chat, helps the channel grow, sends it out into the algorithm. Also, if you are new here and you're into true crime, which I just came on, so probably not too many new people, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. There's a little birdie out there I can hear. I don't know if you can hear him, but he looks, I guess he's looking for his partner. Springtime. If he doesn't fly away, I'll have to shut the window. Oh, there he is again. I'm waiting on him to go, and then as soon as I talk, that's when he likes to run his little mouth out there. I guess he got the word, he got the memo, he's out of here. So if you would like to become a member of our channel, we'd love to have you. We are a pretty good group here, so I'll put the member link in the chat, and we'll get started with tonight's live here in just a moment. I wanted to show you guys something before we got started. So today, you know, like on your, I don't know if you guys have it, but I have Snapchat, and I never use it. I never get on it, but I got on there today to see if there was like, I was looking for I think a picture or something, but I got on there today, and you know how like your memories will come up. So my memory came up, and I think I told you guys this last night on the live about my like first little setup, and it was like in my apartment that like I'm in right now. Like it was in this exact room. So look at this little picture. Let me pull this up, and then I'll show you the room I'm in now. So okay, here, let me show you the room I'm in now. So this is me in the room now, right? So the picture I'm getting ready to show you is where that tree is. I don't know if you can even see it, but you can see the brown basket it's in. There's like a tree back there, pretty dark, but it's back there. So this was my first setup. I thought this was cute when it came up today. Actually, my first technically was in a corner in the kitchen, but this was like my first, I don't know, I guess my first like little setup. But I thought it was cute, so I thought I would show it to you guys. Because we've come up. Look at that little setup. Look at, and that thing that's supposed to hold a cell phone, that selfie stick or whatever it is, that tripod, I spent like $50 on that thing at Best Buy, and I could blow it over with like my breath. Like it's horrible. But yeah, that was my first setup. I know, now look at me. I got my sign and everything. So I figured I'd start the live off with maybe some good humor here. But it says April 18th, this is 3 years ago, and that's when I started. But I swear my video, when I looked at it today, it said April 1st was my, so I guess my 3-year anniversary just was like 20 days ago. I guess I came in on April 1st. Guess I came in on April Fool's Day. I don't know. But I remember it now. I went back and I watched my old videos. It was because of COVID. I was so damn bored. Hey, Ellie. So also, before we get started, I want to show you one more thing too. So today, I'm not sure if that means like, I don't know if it means anything at all, but I figured I'd bring it to the attention, and then whoever watches on replay, they'll know as well. But I've noticed like with like large creators, they won't say like certain words. You know, like they'll use the word like unaliving instead of, you know, the K word. Things of that nature. I'm not good at that. I'm really not. I'm trying to be better, and I've got to be better, because today they sent, like when I went on today to like get on my studio, they sent me a survey, and I've never had a survey. So, it just came up as like, I'll show it to you. I took a picture of it. It just says like, have you experienced issues with any of the following while moderating your most recent live stream? So I don't know if it's just like asking me that because it's just like, you know, just being friendly and asking me, or if it's because I'm using too many code words, or if maybe in our chat, like sometimes, I don't know, maybe if we use like certain words. So I just wanted to let everyone know, that way we are all on the same page. I mean, I don't think we have a bad chat. I think everyone's pretty cool here. I think we all cool. But I figured I'd just let you guys know, because I've never had that pop up, and I'm like, what do you mean? It says communicating with my moderators. I should have put that one. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, guys. Yeah, they do monitor. Yeah, Teresa, you're absolutely right. Yeah, and that's why I'm like, I'm wondering if You know what I mean? Like if they're monitoring, like if maybe they just slipped in, or maybe when you hit over a certain amount of subscribers and they start to really maybe look at you a little more. Yeah, and like SA, yeah, for like, assault, I'll just say a little bit there, but I try, I'm the worst at it. And like I told you my story the other day about, the Sarah story. So I am really bad about it. So I was like, maybe we can all work together. So if I say them too much, then just holler at me. Say, Tanya, stop saying that. Say, that's bad. Hey, Carol, how are you? Yeah, Eddie, watch your mouth. Where is Eddie? I saw him and then he's gone because it's 4:20, Eddie. We will say that. I wonder if that triggers it. I don't think so. That would be funny though if it did. So we are going to be talking about, I'm so fired up about this case. So we're going to be talking about Trent today. Let me get a different picture up here. Let me see. Who do we want to throw up here? Let's throw up the parents. So we did have some arrests. I did a video earlier today, and the video that I put out was actually from I made it a couple days ago. So there's some more stuff that's come out since then. So that's why I wanted to go live, because you really just can't get mad at a pre-recorded like you can on a live video, and you need to let it out. So I figured if anyone wants to come up on panel, I'll drop the link here in a moment too. We can all vent for a minute about this case, because I don't know where it's going to go. I really don't now. So basically, if you don't know what's going on, Trent Lehrkamp, he went to a friend's house, very loosely using that term. He went there on one occasion, and he is seen, and I'll show you the videos and I'll show you the video in just a moment. He's seen on video, the video that we have all been watching and led to believe, and this is what I see in this video too, is he looks passed out to me. I don't see him moving. And he's being hosed off, and they're all laughing about it. And then there's a group of kids in the background that aren't even paying a lick of attention about anything. So the story now is that they were having an egg fight and that Trent let them hose him down. But all the other kids are fine. None of the other kids have egg on them. None of the other kids want to be hosed down as well. Make it make sense. Speaking of which, we're ordering red flags either tonight on the live or tomorrow. I just wrote it down because I need to be waving them all the time, because those kids would have had something on them. And we'll watch the video because maybe they did. I haven't watched the video in a while. Oh, you're okay, Teresa. You can take the night off if you want. She's on a boat. Oh, man. Wish I was on a boat. I'd probably still be live streaming. I wouldn't be. I'd be like, y'all, look at me on a boat. Yeah. This is insane. So no, there's actually been 5 arrests. So these are the parents. They've been arrested for, let me switch over my notes. Maintaining a disorderly house, which is a misdemeanor. And contributing to dependency or delinquency of a minor, which is a misdemeanor. And he taped his own self down, Carol. Yep, I haven't even got to the picture yet. Oh yeah, that's when I start to real get fired up. Teresa's on the TitaniumBuilt. She's out on the water. Let me see. What do I have back here? I have okay. I'm like, what is this? I just had a picture of him. Do I have the picture? Yeah, okay. My tab just got a little mixed up. I was like, what's going on here? Okay, so I'm going to show you the video first, just in case no one's seen it. And yeah, hopefully this is the last time I have to show it. And let me try to rewind it. Or actually, you know what? I'm just going to let it play all the way through because I'm turning the volume down a little bit. I'm going to let it play a couple times. I hate it when it does that. I hate when it's Google. So let me see if I can find it. I don't think it'll let me go back, will it? Yeah, it will. because I think this is like the only video I could find. So let me play it again for you guys. But yeah, none of those kids have like egg on them or nothing. They have nothing on them. Like if that's what this is going to be about. And I have the press conference. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet. It has bits of audio that are messed up, but we'll get through it. But it'll light a fire up your ass if you haven't seen it yet. I've only watched about half of it and I had to stop because I was getting like physically sick to my stomach. So this is going to be the video, like I just said, of them hosing him down.
Okay, get the back of his head. Oh my, this is dude perfect. And we're washing off.
Republicans are.
I wish I knew what that kid said. Like we're washing him down and it's perfect. It is a miracle. Where they get the alcohol. See, that's what, so I guess that's why they're charging those parents. And they're also, so this is, I'll share this. Okay. This is from the Glenn County Magistrate. This is the whole form. I just had it kind of blown up for us. But it just says here that this is for the delinquency of a minor. And then if you go down here, it says, Detective Burgadis personally makes oath that James Strother, hereafter called the accused, did at or prior to 2018 military time on the 21st day of March in the year 2023 in the county of aforesaid St. Simon Island commit the offense contributing to the delinquency or dependency of a minor against the state of Georgia in that accused did knowingly and encourages, causes, abets, convoys or aids a minor in committing a delinquent act to wit. The accused, so this is where I want you to listen to, and I want you to look at this part because there's a redacted part, and I wonder what it says. The accused knowingly allowed juveniles to possess drug paraphernalia and marijuana, and then it says and I don't know what this word is, but to me, I can't blow it up anymore. It looks like rifle on the end, like something rifle. But I don't know why it would say at. Let me see if I can try to blow it up anymore. No, I can't blow it up anymore. Sorry, guys. I thought I could. So I don't know what that part says. But they're definitely, yeah. So they got arrested. They got bonded out, I'm sure. It says St. Simons Island without being authorized under any provision of Georgia law to do so. All acts contrary to the laws of the state of Georgia. Yeah, and it just says issued for their arrest. So they were arrested, and then I'm sure they bailed out right as soon as they were arrested because these are misdemeanor charges, so they wouldn't have been kept there for any amount of time. Hi, Queen Olive. Yeah, this case is just really lights a fire in me. So if you guys haven't already, don't forget to hit the like button. It really does help the channel grow. Don't forget to subscribe. We're going to go ahead and get into the picture now. So, okay. So they're trying to say, they're going to, and you'll hear this in this, in the press conference. They're going to try to say that Trent did most of this to himself and that no felonies were broke here. And that's why they arrested this guy here. Let me see, where's my pictures? Edward Hobby. He got a battery in case involving a different victim, which means he shot at a girl. We'll talk about that too. He's smiling in his mugshot. So they're saying that there was no felonies committed. To me, when you strap somebody to a damn chair and you tape them to a chair and they're forced to drink alcohol, let's say they didn't even force him to drink the alcohol. Let's say he was drinking it himself. At some point, his body's going to reject it and he's going to try to get up out of the damn chair. So at that point, why was he still stuck in the chair? to exasperate liquor. Like there's no rhyme or reason for that other than you can't get up because you're being forced there, which that means you are kidnapped. You are being held against your will. That is a felony. So why are we not charging people with felonies down in Georgia right now? I'm so stinking upset. Let me see something really quick. Yeah, it is super rich people. You're right, Summer. I could tell by the house that they were in it, and I was like, dang. And if they pooped on him and took a photo of it. Yeah. So they're saying that. Yeah, and I'm going to show you this picture too, and I'll show it to you during the press conference. I'll try to see if I can get it to overlay. They're trying to say, and when I first saw the defecation on his lap, in my mind, I was like, man, that's like some kid that's eating right or something. I don't know. Because like the way it looks, it just was disgusting to me. They're trying to say, though, that that is a dinosaur toy. A dinosaur toy. But it's in 2 pieces. Are you kidding me? Like, I mean, I'm like, are you kidding? Like, you could make up something better than that. Family owns Popeyes, has a home there. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. So I'm going to show the picture. I hate showing this picture because he don't deserve it. But he deserves justice. And that's exactly what he thought he was going to get with the last live that we did. We heard, his voice, and he said, justice is going to be served. You heard that. If this was a case of he did this to himself, he could have told his dad. He could have told his dad. His dad wouldn't have been mad at him. Or if he would, he wouldn't have been mad because he would have been happy his son was alive. So he had every chance in the book to, come out of this and say that he, if he did do this to himself, which we all know he did it. There's no way. Then he has an out. He was in the hospital. He was just got off a ventilator. You tell dad, you just, you know what I mean? You just got off a ventilator. Dad's going to forgive you for anything. So for people to say that he did this to himself, it's insane to me. So, and the flipping the camera off and everything. It's just a whole vibe, So the tape is around his eyes, it looks like. And the stuff is on top of him. And who would let another person spray paint them? Really? Other than the rest. Maybe the rest, okay, but who's going to spray paint somebody? I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. None of this makes sense. And I don't know if I want to be mad at the damn police or if I'm mad at the friggin' prosecution or the state. It's ridiculous either way, though. It's very disgusting. And I feel so bad for him because he's come such a long way. We will look over some tweets too from, I think that's where I was. From Brett Buffington. He has been down there for a while. So this is his Twitter. And I went back towards the 17th. But this is Trent here. He was able to make a video call for his family. This was on the 17th. So this was before, I think, the news conference. Oh, no, right here. So it says on the 17th, Trent's family tells Glenn County Police, or tells me, Glenn County Police have not reached out to them about today's update, adding police said they would call on Friday, but never did. So I'm going to show you the press conference now. And some of the audio and visuals, I think, go out in it. Because I was listening on my headphones, I'm like, what's going on? But they'll come back, so. And then also, please don't forget to like the video and all that good stuff, all that free stuff that you guys can do.
My name is Katie Boston. I'm the community.
Oh, and I wanted to tell you guys too, I have this up all the way as high as it'll go. It just isn't that loud for you guys, but it should be loud enough to hear.
Communications Director for Glenn County. I want to thank you for coming today. We are going to be giving a briefing on the investigation of the incident on St. Simon's Island. It is the Lehrkamp case. You're going to be hearing from Interim Chief O'Neill Jackson. You'll also be hearing from the District Attorney, Keith Higgins, and we also have Stacy Carson, the Special Agent in charge with the Georgia Bureau of Investigations. We will be taking questions. Chief Jackson and DA Higgins are open to taking questions after their statements are made. We'll ask that we do it in an orderly process. If you'll raise your hand, I'll acknowledge you and you can ask your question.
On today, April 17th, 2023, at approximately 9:50 hours, investigators of the Glenn County Police Department arrested Carlton J. Struther, age 46, and Lauren C. Struther, age 56, both of Glenn County, for the charges of maintaining a disorderly house and contributing to the delinquency or dependency of a minor. The couple, along with their attorney, surrendered themselves to GCPD investigators and were booked into the Glenn County Detention Center. In addition,
So that pretty much means that they were told of the arrest before the arrest was going to happen. If they turned themselves in like that, instead of them going and arresting them like they should have, they did something there. So, oh, sorry, Mickey. Yeah, in the beginning, right when I started playing this, the volume I said, it's up as high as it'll go. It's the video. It's not me. It's the actual video. The audio is kind of low. But I think when he starts talking, it gets a little louder because he has a deeper voice. I think maybe that lady just was a little quiet too. And welcome in, everybody. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it.
in addition to this arrest, at approximately 1100 hours, Edward Rooker Hobby, a 17-year-old, was booked at the Glenn County Detention Center and charged with battery. This arrest stemmed from a separate investigation that was associated with the Lehrkamps. Investigators have also filed juvenile complaints in juvenile court on 2 juveniles. Abiding by state law, the identity of those juveniles will be withheld, but juvenile 1 was charged with simple battery and criminal trespass, and juvenile 2 was charged with possession and use of drug-related objects. Since the start of this investigation, investigators remained in contact with the Lehrkamp family and have kept a clear and open line of communication. Updates on the progress of this case have been continuously given to the family as well as the victim, and in fact, prior to coming in for this conference, we were in touch with the family. We continue to wish the victim well towards his recovery. GCPD is continuing to investigate this matter, and I'd like to thank the GBI as well as the District Attorney's Office, who have been assisting us along the way from the very beginning. I'd also like to thank the investigators who have worked so tirelessly on this case. This is still an active investigation, so we will be limited in what it is that we can discuss.
The object of all legal investigation is the discovery of the truth. To get to the truth, an investigation must be thorough and leave no stone left unturned. The Glenn County Police Department has conducted such an investigation in this case. The length of time that the investigation has taken has been in large part due to all of the misinformation that has been put out on social media in particular, and the need to address it. With the assistance of the GBI, all witnesses were interviewed, The data from all cell phones were downloaded. All of Trent Lehrkamp's medical records were obtained. Search warrants were executed, and it was determined what forensic testing, if any, could be conducted by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. Although I'm typically not allowed to talk about the details of any pending case, I am allowed to speak to address and correct misinformation that has been widely publicized.
Before this ass gets into what he's going to say, because I already know I'm going to be upset again, why don't they take that tape that was wrapped around old Trent, right? And take that and fingerprint that and see whose fingerprints are on there. Because if Trent did all this to himself, then he had to have done the tape too. And I can't see somebody. No, that's impossible. That's impossible. Just wanted to get that out before, you know. Blame the social media. He's going to blame it all. Here we go.
Upon review of all the evidence in this case, it has been determined. How do we turn this thing on? You gotta click me. Good to go? Okay. Sorry for the technical difficulty there. Upon review of all the evidence in this case, it has been determined that Trenton Lehrkamp is a 19-year-old high school graduate. He is not autistic. He is not developmentally disabled. He is not mentally challenged. On March
I don't know whoever said that he was autistic to begin with, but who cares about that?
17, 2023, he voluntarily went to a residence on St. Simon's Island where there was a group of high school students who were between the ages of 14 and 17. At the residence, he voluntarily drank alcohol. He engaged in an egg fight, and he consented to be washed off with a water hose after the egg fight ended. Specifically, he asked to be allowed to take some electronics out of his pocket before he was washed off, and he voluntarily sat down in the...
Well, Trent needs to give them a letter of a thank you card for letting him take they let him take the electronics out of his pocket before they hosed his ass down. Why, thank you guys. I really, truly appreciate that one. Think we should all get together, send a thank you card, maybe $100 in there. Maybe we should, for all the, all the men, all those great, great, great men, I'm doing the biggest air quotes in my life right now, that took his butt to the hospital. Those are the ones, they need to be, they need to be arrested. I don't even know. This is insane to me. He may have went there that night and started drinking on his own. Maybe. Yeah, I 100% could see that. But taping yourself to a chair, having someone spray paint you, hose you down on another occasion, WD-40, super glue's been involved, condiments, feces, urine, and the hospital said urine, and they're going to try to disclaim that. They're going to try to give you a reason for that too. I'm going to let it play for a minute.
The chair that's depicted in the video that's been put out in social media and other media. He was not tortured. In the video of Trenton being washed off that's been published on social media, the statement that was actually made by the juvenile was, "Dude perfect, we are washing off Trenton." Although some people claim otherwise, He did not say, "We are washing off autism." On March 21, 2023, Trent Lehrkamp voluntarily went to the same residence on St. Simon's Island where he had gone on March 17th. Once again, there was a group of high school students present who were between the ages of 14 and 17. At the residence, Trenton voluntarily drank alcohol until he blacked out. No one poured alcohol down his throat or forced him to drink. No one pushed a funnel down his throat. No one urinated on him. Although when he went to the hospital, the nurses noted the smell of urine upon him and he was drenched. Water had been dumped on him, and quite frankly, the physiological response of a human being who has drank alcohol to the point that it is a toxin in their system will either sweat profusely, vomit, and urinate. No one urinated on Trent Lehrkamp. No one defecated on Trent Lehrkamp either. The item that's shown in the photograph that was published on social media is a plastic dinosaur toy.
Did y'all hear that? The shit that's on his lap. There's no other way to put it. Sorry, YouTube. I'm really going to be getting bing, bing, bing tonight. But this is a serious case for me. That was a dinosaur toy. I'm going to remind everybody what this picture looks like one more time. If somebody can make a dinosaur out of that, then, I mean, there's two different things there. Does anybody else see a dinosaur? And I'll also believe this story when Trent comes out and says this is the story. And then I may not even still believe it. Because there is no way that you can have this happen to your lungs. Liquor is aspirating into your lungs. Yes, Trent, please do your own presser with your attorney. Yes. He needs his own. This is so sad.
Of which there are photographs that were taken during this investigation when the residence was searched. No one poured acid down his throat. No one beat him. No one choked him. No one tortured him. After Trenton blacked out from the alcohol that he voluntarily drank, one of the juveniles that was present committed certain acts that have resulted in the complaints that are being filed against him in juvenile court. The subsequent execution of a search warrant at the residence resulted in the discovery of evidence that led to the complaint that is being brought against the other juvenile. After realizing that Trenton needed medical attention, Rooker Hobby drove Trenton to the hospital. Rooker Hobby and the juveniles that accompanied him just didn't drop him off outside the ER. They went inside, got medical personnel to come outside and take him in so that he could get the medical care that he needed.
I'm going to stop it right there because those kids asked, after they dropped his ass off, they said, after they pulled him up to the parking lot, and they were like, they took him inside. They said, do you need our names or what? Because we need to leave. So who is this guy? Yeah, they need medals, Susie. Yeah, I'm about to make them some. They dumped him off. Yep. And the only reason why they didn't dump him off and probably drive away was because they knew he would tell on them. He would say this is, so it wasn't like they weren't going to get caught. So they thought, well, hell, if we at least walk in with him, but they did say, can we go ahead and go? Here's our names. Who does that to somebody? Friend or not? I mean, someone's in need.
They then left their correct names and telephone numbers before leaving. By taking Trenton to the hospital so he could get medical attention, Rooker Hobby and the juveniles quite probably saved his life. Based on the facts As they have been determined during this investigation, and as well as the law, the two juveniles for whom complaints have been filed in juvenile court will be prosecuted in the juvenile court of Glenn County. They cannot be tried as adults. Crime of simple battery and the crime of criminal trespass are misdemeanor offenses. For a juvenile to be tried as an adult in Superior Court and possession of drug-related objects is a misdemeanor. For a juvenile to be prosecuted as an adult in Superior Court, Superior Court either has to have a jurisdiction of that matter, which requires one of these crimes: murder, voluntary manslaughter, murder in the second degree, rape, aggravated sodomy, aggravated child molestation, aggravated sexual battery, armed robbery with a firearm, aggravated assault if committed with a firearm upon a public safety officer, or aggravated battery upon a public safety officer. None of those crimes exist in this case. For a case to be transferred to Superior Court from juvenile court, if one is originally brought in juvenile court, it has to be a felony. At a minimum, it has to be a felony. For there even to be a petition or a consideration of transfer, there are no felonies in this case.
There are felonies in this case. Assault. You've got kidnapping. I'm sure that there's more too. I just can't think of them right off the top of my head. But I mean, this is crazy. Like, he literally was taped to a chair. He couldn't do... There's a motorcycle out there rolling around. But he couldn't do that by himself. There's no way. It's like, oh my Lord. This is just like the Murdoch, Rich. This reminds me of. Yep. It says, do one of these kids have a last name like Murdoch? Privileged? Yeah, they do. Little rich kids that have their parents pay off the proper authorities. Yep. Yeah, I mean, even the parents are paying something because they didn't go arrest the parents. The parents were able to come to court or go down to the police station and just turn themselves in. It's insanity to me. And so he did all of that stuff to himself is what this guy's saying. This guy's actually trying to make us believe that none of this even happened. The way it's making it sound. Like he wasn't defecated on. That was a toy. He wasn't urinated on. That was him. They didn't force him to drink. He drank that. They didn't pour battery acid down his throat. Well, who the hell said that? No one's been saying that. We've been saying shrooms and liquor. What about the shrooms? Because you know why? Those are things you can test. And you can test for those. And I hope Trent hears this and I hope he gets those tests and sees what's in his system. Because that kid's going to know what's supposed to be in there and what's not supposed to be in there. And he doesn't look like a kid that's going to be lying. So.
Case. The juveniles for whom charges have been brought or allegations of delinquent acts, I should say, have been brought must be, under the law, handled in juvenile court. The acts alleged against Rooker Hobby and the Struthers are also misdemeanors. They will be handled by the solicitor for the state court of Glenn County. Battery, contributing to the delinquency of a minor, and disorderly house are all misdemeanor offenses. With that said, we'd be available to answer any questions that you may have.
You mentioned Mr. Rooker Hobby. I missed his age. Was he under 18? And you said it was a separate incident. Could you clarify what you mean by separate?
I'm going to try to, let me get my paper. I'm going to try, because I don't know how, I know the volume's a little bit low for you guys, so I'm trying to see what the questions are that they're asking right now. So if I'm not in the chat for just a second, that's why.
Incident, what was different there?
His age is 17.
So why is, and clarify, why is he being named, the other minors are not? He's a minor at 17.
Because under Georgia law, he could be tried as an adult. And what was your second question?
Yeah, so he's being charged with battery for a separate incident. Can you clarify what that is and what the deal with Mr. Hobby is?
So that's a separate related incident that was uncovered or reported to the police department after our initial investigation in regards to Lehrkamp. And as a result, detectives took out charges for
By
it.
separate, you mean on a different date, to different
A
event?
different date, different victim.
Different victim,
That's correct.
not Mr. Lehrkamp?
That is correct.
Can you clarify what this was about at this point?
I will not.
What about Trent's father's version of events? I mean, he kind of said he was abused serially. Can you speak to that? I mean, it sounds like Trent consented to a lot of what happened. Can you speak to the father's version of his abuse serially?
As a parent, I understand he saw his son going to that residence, coming back home in different states of intoxication with different things being done to him. Like the district attorney said, but he continued to go back because he was under the impression those individuals were his friends. And obviously they weren't if they treated him like that.
Treated him like what? You all just said he did all this to himself. You all just said the first video was an egg fight. So why are you bringing this up? Why are you saying it like that for? Well, he went back because he thought they were his friends. Shouldn't even put that in there, bud.
Julian, I know you mentioned that under Georgia law, Ricker Hobby can be tried as an adult, so is he being charged as an adult?
Well, actually, under Georgia law, Rooker Hobby is considered an adult in the state of Georgia for criminal prosecution purposes. In Florida, he would be considered a juvenile. In Georgia, he's considered an adult. And that's why we could name his name.
You sound almost outraged at the amount of misinformation there was. Are you angry about this case and the way that it's gone about the community here?
I'm not angry about the case. It's just that it has taken up an inordinate amount of time of both investigative resources as well as prosecution resources in this county at a time when very serious crimes have also been committed, where we've had a 14-year-old juvenile brutally raped and tortured for about 15 hours in the city.
No, he didn't. No, he fucking didn't, guys. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. So he was tortured, okay? He was. So if the only difference is if he would have been the R word, that's the only difference. Because this was prolonged over time, you can tell they didn't just throw some condiments and do all that within 5 seconds. That this guy, is this the prosecutor? Because I didn't catch his name. And if it is, I mean, this is the district, yeah. My God. My God. This guy needs to be fired.
There have been other serious crimes that have taken place that need investigating and attention as well. I'm not angry about it. It just has diverted a lot of resources to a matter that, while serious, is not as serious as other cases.
One more question. This isn't the same. Okay, remember in the press conference we watched and the chief, I don't know if it was this chief, that's why I'm asking you guys. This isn't the same chief where his secretary said one more question because he's busy. Is it? This ain't the same, the one and the same, is it? Because remember, I know we were watching it. We watched so many cases, guys. I'm wondering, Was it this guy? I'm about to go back to that interview now. Because there was an interview, or it was a press conference we were watching, and the guy was like, or the lady, I'm sorry, the lady was like, we have time for one more question because he's really busy guy. And it would have been this guy. Look at him. Look at his, with the glasses. Gentleman in the white with the white shirt. He is looking to the side. He's side-eyeing bad.
Speak for the chief. I know with all of the social media chatter, there were listed names of kids who were in their families who were listed. There were a lot of things said. Have you been contacted by any of the families about any threats, things like that being made toward the families or towards the children, the juveniles who were allegedly involved?
So we have not had any separate complaints of any type of threats at this time.
Could you clarify what you just said about a 14-year-old who was raped for 15 hours in the heart of Brunswick? We didn't know about that.
So there was a 14-year-old female child that was brutally raped in the city of Brunswick. It's a case that's being investigated by the city police department. Detective Carla Futch is the detective on that case. The individual who raped her was a homeless man, and that individual stayed in the presence of that female for about 15 hours during that incident.
Can you say the date when that happened?
I don't know that off the top of my head. Yes, it would.
Heaven forbid they have more than one case that they have to freaking attend to. Really? Do they need a bigger police force? Like, oh, nope, we already got one case, sorry. Already got one case going. Can't do another case, sorry. We've already, already got the one here. We've had it for the last 50 years, but it's our, it's our one case. We can't do it. It's so crazy.
It would have been during the time this case was being investigated.
And has there been an arrest in that case?
There has.
Can you say the name of the suspect at this point?
Off the top of my head, I don't recall it, but I can find that out for
Can you
you.
please get that to us?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Mr. Higgins, just what do you think contributed to the amount of misinformation in the Lehrkamp case?
Social media. There were a lot of things put on social media that were inaccurate. There were a lot of people with fake profiles, people not even from this area, that were putting out misinformation, hitting hot button topics that then got other people infuriated about the case. That one of which was hot button topic is that Trenton was autistic, which caused a lot of anger, if you will, with regard to that. And if he had been, justifiably so, but he's not. And just a lot of
I'm going to tell you right now, not one creator gives a flying F if Trent is autistic or if Trent is not autistic. This has nothing to do with autism. Never. This has nothing to do with it. Yep. Now, if you were a young white girl, they go hardcore. Just saying, respect pickles. I think you're absolutely right. Apparently, if you're a 14-year-old female in Brunswick, you deserve the attention. All of it. And if it's Brunswick, isn't that a different jurisdiction anyway? So don't they have different officers there to deal with their crime? I'll have to look that up from those two areas.
misinformation out there with regard to the specific acts that were done that were very vile in nature. Even if they had been committed, they still would have been simple batteries under the definition of that, but still vile with regard to allegations of defecation and urination and that he was forced to drink, things of that nature that just simply are not true.
Chief, we've had the community, calling for an arrest in this. We saw the march through St. Simon's Island, the vigil that night. Just what's your word for the community about being able to announce these arrests today?
I'm happy in some regard, but I'm sad in other, because this is an incident that could have been avoided parents are a little bit more attentive to what's going on in their house. Being mindful that teens can get their hands on alcohol, and sometimes folks do use illegal narcotics. So I'm sad that something like this happened. I'm glad for the community's sake that we were able to make an arrest in this case.
And I know obviously it was very problematic, all this misinformation for investigators, and I know you talked about some of the time that it added on to the investigation, but obviously there were some misdemeanors committed, but how harmful are these rumors to maybe these boys' reputations in the sense of defecation and the autism and all these adding factors?
Can you restate your question for me?
Yeah, essentially this misinformation, I know it was harmful to investigators throughout the process, but maybe some of the boys who didn't commit crimes getting lumped in with these terrible acts that turned out were just hearsay, such as the defecation and forcing stuff down his throat. How detrimental is it to the people involved and important to prevent this misinformation for that reason?
It's quite damaging to families' reputations, people's reputations. One of my employees' children was alleged to have been involved in this, so it's very, very damaging, and it's heartbreaking that stuff like that happens. But with the instantaneous use of social media and in light seconds, all that misinformation's out there. It's hard to pull it back once it's out there. No matter how often myself or anyone else says that individual wasn't involved, the public believes what they're going to believe, and it hurts a lot.
Chief, one of the fathers of one of the kids who dropped Trent off at the hospital and left his number at the hospital told me that his son wasn't interviewed by investigators until 5 days after Trent was dropped off at the hospital, and it was only after that child was scared to go to school and called 911 that investigators showed up at the house. Can you speak to that as we're talking about misinformation slowing this case down? If that's one of the witnesses who was there that night, why did it take investigators 5 days?
I don't have any information to that sort, so I can't confirm that.
So they just said, one of the kids that were there that night, you didn't call them for 5 days or so after this happened. He was a witness. Why didn't you call them? Like, why didn't you address them first? And he's like, yeah, I don't know about that. He knows about a lot, but he doesn't know about that one. I think there's only like a minute left in this.
Yes, sir.
What are some of the possible penalties we could see from some of these charges? I know we have misdemeanors and adults and juveniles in terms of length of time.
Well, with regard to the charges against the adults, Rooker Hobby and the Struthers, the maximum possible sentence would be 12 months and a $1,000 fine. With regard to the juveniles, that would be up to juvenile court with regard to what may happen in juvenile court, and I won't comment any further upon that. Okay. I was making sure everything was still hooked back up because I had to use my headphones so I could hear. Those questions every time they do press conferences, you can never, ever, ever hear the questions. Ever. Yeah, so I was going to show you some stuff through here on, this is all about that. So I was going to go up and see what, there was some more stuff, which we already went over, The DA says investigators found Trent volunteered to be hosed off, wasn't forced to drink, was in an egg fight, voluntarily drank alcohol, wasn't urinated on, wasn't beaten, wasn't simply dropped off at the hospital. And then that's like the evidence that they said they went through. Remember, we saw that. There's the pictures of the Struthers. Edward Hobby. That was one of the kids that were in the video, or in the picture. I think he's in the video too. He also has another incident where he shot at a girl right here. Never mind. With an Orbeez gun. I don't know what that is though. Let me see. I think it's like a pellet gun, right? Like a rifle or something? Pellet rifle? Oh, were you? Whoa.
Well, okay, they could be like anything. So it looks like an airsoft gun, I think. But it could look like a gun. Little water pellets of gel. Okay. Yeah, because they have like all kinds of pictures, but they're all different. Like some are like machine looking guns. Some are like this one's freaking scary. If someone shot at me with this looking gun. Like, look at this one. The hell do kids have it nowadays? That's insane. Like, there's different ones. There's like hand ones too. So, but that one just looked scary. Oh, so it says obvious. Okay, so District Attorney Keith Higgins said blah, blah, blah. Higgins today said Trent Lehrkamp volunteered to get drunk and essentially asked for everything that happened to him. If Trent's BAC was 4.64 when he got to the hospital, when was he capable of consent? Good question. And then he said, I wanted to ask that, but Glenn County spokesperson obviously was still a little bitter about the last press conference and only called on me once. And then here it says that they remained in contact with Mr. Lehrkamp and his family and kept a clear line of communication. It says the family says, though, that they learned of the arrest 20 minutes before today's media briefing. So that's not keeping them in the loop. They're not being kept in the loop. And then here it says, a teen who tells me he held Trent's head up on the trip to the hospital and left his number in the emergency room says Glenn County Police never called, and he was only interviewed after his friend's grandmother called 911 5 days later. So they're not even calling witnesses. And he was one of the, it wasn't like he was just there at the party that night. He was part of the people that took him to the hospital. He was part of that group. So this is actually after, I believe. But he did have something, I believe, before too. Heck yeah, they hurt. I wouldn't want to be shot with one of them. I wouldn't even want to be like anything pointed like that at me. Hey, L-Beam. Who's Mo? Oh, you're talking to Eddie. I'm like, I don't know. I actually had a cat named Mo growing up. Let's go back to Brett Buffington's page so I can see what else is on here. Oh, this is Trent Lehrkamp's family put this statement out. So I wanted to read this to you guys. So this was after the press conference. It says, from the Lehrkamp family, today it was evident that they wanted to address and correct what the kids didn't do, but not recognize or acknowledge the fact of what was done to Trent. At the end of the day, he was mistreated in inhumane ways. Trent was humiliated, being hosed in a chair, and the joke of social media videos and being taped to a chair and posed within pictures. It is disgusting. We don't believe that confirming it wasn't feces on him, urine on him, or no battery acid down his throat makes this any better. A vulnerable 19-year-old was made to be a sick joke of someone's disgusting fun and games. The family has reached back out to the investigators. And this is, Trent has also since shared other occasions things of this nature have happened. Other parents have also come forward or made contact to inform the family he is not alone and that their kids have also been in situations with these kids. Today it was shared that one arrest wasn't even tied to Trent, but to another kid who was able to come forward through this event. Oh, that's sweet that someone was able to come forward because of Trent, you know? Trent was not the only one. We want this to happen, we want this to happen to no one else. So through this continued awareness, hopefully this is the end of it. Trent was visibly taped to the chair. He was visibly spray painted. There also was a video shared with the police from the night when he came home and was once again spray painted, covered in glue-like substance, sprayed with WD-40 and dripping wet from being hosed. It is hard to believe, and it was the first time the family heard that he consented to being hosed down. He was visibly passed out in that video while being hosed. Doesn't seem to make sense someone would consent. Not sure it's even considered consent if you're under the influence when someone wants to do a dude perfect video. What's a dude perfect video? Does anyone know? Now I feel like I need to look that up. Is that like a thing, or is that like just like... Okay, I'll have to look it up. Or if anyone can look that up for me, let me know, because I want to know what it means. It says, this is very upsetting to Trent, to his family, and to the community. So many conversations have come from this. One that comes up constantly is, why would he keep going back there? So many have shared their stories through this. One statement that stands so true. I've been there before, maybe not to that extent or that specific type of situation, but can't many of us ask ourselves, why do we keep going back? Rest assured, Trent is getting good care. However, there are bad days filled with anxiety and fear. He is working through the trauma and PTSD, past losses, and the grief that comes with that, as well as getting all the recommended care they feel is beneficial to him. He is not being treated for alcohol or drug addiction. Who the fuck said that? Who said that? Thank you again. Man, people are crazy. That's no one. Oh, man. We thank you again on behalf of Trent for all your prayers and continued support. So apparently that's floating around. Has anyone heard that? Like, people hear rehab and they automatically assume drug and rehab. Because when I used to say I was in rehab, like, people would look at me like, and I'm like, rehabilitation, like, for my body? Wow. I hope he has a lawyer. I really do. Just reading in the chat. Yeah, they had no intention, I don't think, of seeking any justice for him. I think they wanted to sweep this under the rug. I mean, look at the house. I mean, it wasn't one event. It was two. So I'm going to do an analogy. When you get busted for drunk driving, right? They'll tell you, like when you go to that little 3-day drunk driving class, or cops will tell you or whatever, they'll tell you. They'll say, they'll say, how many times do you think you drank and drove before you were caught? And when you really like look back and think about it, you're like, you know, most people are like, damn, probably a lot, you know? So I think it's the same with this house. I think that they got caught for 2 parties that went awry, but I think that they had a hell of a lot more than that going on there. I think they were having parties in the summer all the time. This was winter. This was like, this is a month ago. So it was still like cooler out. Probably not as much, but you know. 2 that we know of. Yep, summer, you're right. Shaming the victim, yeah. Oh, I hope he has the biggest civil case. I do. And I hope that this does stop the other kids from getting bullied. I know. I've told everyone to be good, and I'm the one to be bad tonight. But I knew I was going to be bad with Trent on here. It gets me going. Dude Perfect is a reality comedy show. Started on CMT in 2006 and moved to Nickelodeon in 2017. Oh, I didn't even know Nickelodeon was still around. Did they come back? I didn't know. Or did they go out? I loved Nickelodeon when I was little. I did. I loved it all. I don't think that there was much more. Let me see. Yeah, I think this was stuff that we had already, whatever. This was stuff I pulled up earlier. Yeah, that was all of it. I've been keeping up with Brett Buffington on this case because he's like a kid in a candy store with this thing. He's not going to let it go. Oh, I used to love Double Dare too. I love Nickelodeon. There was actually something that I watched not too long ago on like all the old like Nickelodeon shows. It was like just, I don't know, something on YouTube, and I was like, oh my gosh, nostalgia. Like there was one I'll never remember it now. I can remember it in my head, but it's like it was very short-lived and it was very creepy show. And it was on there and I was just like, oh, I remember that. Well, I hope that you guys all had a great day. It could be attempted murder with Trent. Going on a ventilator. Yeah. I've been on a ventilator before. Those things ain't cool. They're not fun. That's scary. That's PTSD moments after that, you know? All Real Monsters. And Cat Dog. Oh my God, my dad loved Cat Dog. I still talk about it to this day. My dad used to, oh my God, he loved that. And Ren and Stimpy. He used to love that show. You can't do that on television. Yes. There was one, I can't even think of the one I'm thinking of. It's like so weird. It was so weird and like old. One of the creators, yeah, he was, Eddie, I think that's what you're talking about. One of the creators on that show, well, it's what he goes by, but Jeanette McCurdy's, he did like he didn't do like the cartoons. He did more of the, people with like actors in it, like Amanda Bynes when she came in, and like all that, the cast of all that and those people. Yeah. Oh, did you know that they're going to do another Good Burger? They just announced it. Like Keenan and Kel, they're going to do another Good Burger movie. I don't know when it's going to be out, but I saw it on something. Wow, 59.3 million? What are they doing over there, Joe Looking Ass? Can we do that on my channel? He did think those boys were his friends. I think so too. I think that's the sad thing. Letitia was actually out of court today. She's just been sitting in the cell all day today. I know. I couldn't believe it when they said that. It was on like Jimmy Fallon or something. We all know it. I know. I'm going to go see it. I got to go see the old one. I mean, I have to see the old one so I can get like caught up. Because Vincent, I know that Vincent's probably never seen it. There were 5 grown-ass men in their 30s. Man. Well, I'm in my 30s, and I'm a grown-ass woman. Maybe I could be part of their group. Do they need a girl? Just kidding. Just kidding. That'd be funny. Like, go over there and be like, hey, I just learned about you guys. Actually, somebody follows my channel. I can't remember their name now. Like, like, if you have, like, a public account, you can see who, like, follows you. And this person has, like, 140, 100,000, like 120 to 140,000 subs, and they're following me. I'm like, you're following me? I don't even know who you are, but okay, thank you. Because, my little channel made me feel good, though. I was like, I don't even know who that is. Yeah, I can actually try to pull up. Like, some of them you can see, like, who your subscribers are. Yeah, and then I have like a couple other ones that are like not too big, but like big. And I'm just like, I don't know who they are though. But I am. So tomorrow, let's see. I'll put it out on the thing. I'll put it out on the, because I want the members to decide what you guys want to talk about on Saturday. But I do have a really good show, that I've been planning for Idaho 4, but we can do it either. We can do that on tomorrow if you want. If you guys want to do something different on Saturday, or we could do it Saturday. And we are going to go over this PTSD thing again. because I'm on one, let me tell you about it. So it'll be good. I haven't. I might need to for a collab. Tandy, you're right. No, we'll have to do trivia though soon. I really do want to do some trivia. I wrote it down on this new piece of paper because I'm bad about that. Like I'll write something down because I have this and then I'll flip it. So I want to try to get like an AI kind of generated one. I think that'd be so funny. Because you bring the truth, Tanya. Thanks, Rich. It's going to be some truth telling too. I was on another person's, like another creator's page. I have a really good memory. I don't know how I do because I've been smacked around a car a few different times, but my memory is not terrible. So when I hear something and it's something certain that I know, I'll retain it. So I heard somebody say that, and this is my opinion's different than this person's opinion, and that's okay. And that's perfectly okay. But my opinion is that after this incident that happened at Idaho, that Dylan did experience PTSD. He said that, so there was a video and it was a community post I saw yesterday, and it was like, I'm coming out with this video about, chronic/complex PTSD, and I'm going to have somebody on my video that tells you all about it and how it relates to the Idaho 4 and this, and that. And I'm looking through the comment section and I'm just like, people were going, I thank you for bringing like awareness to this, and thank you, and thank you, and thank you. And I'm like, don't thank them yet, because they literally just said 6 days ago in their video that this had nothing to do with PTSD. Like those were the word. I recorded it just in case they deleted the video. So now I got to do a live about it. And just talk to everybody and get everybody's opinion. Because they were saying just about the whole, the 8-hour period of time, I literally fell asleep for hours. And I would have slept longer when I had my first PTSD trauma, started with trauma. And PTSD technically is after the trauma. So you don't have it during the trauma. And so, I pointed that out today, but I couldn't help myself. So are people getting snow? Truth and Tourette's. That's funny. I really don't know how my memory's so good, really. It's getting better, and I think it's because of you guys, doing YouTube. Because I would, after my car accident, and it'll happen to me, so just help me out whenever it does, but my memory, I'll just be talking like this, and it's like my brain circuits out. And I can't remember what I was talking about, what I'm doing, where I'm at. I'm just like, huh? You know what I mean? I'll get and I'll have no clue, and then someone will have to remind me. So, yeah. And I did, for the replay, if you guys ever do replays, I always do, I'm trying to think. I always try to do the live chat for you guys, because I have to manually go in and do those things. Because I remember one time someone was mad I didn't do it. And I was like, I'm sorry. I just didn't hit the button. A winter storm glow bug. Oregon, crazy weather over here. Princess Mega Elsa, you're from Oregon? I don't know why I don't know why. I didn't think that you were from the United States. And why do I not think that? I don't know why. I have no clue why. I don't know where I thought you were from. I'm trying to think. But for some reason, I thought you were just not not Canada. I didn't think. I didn't know it was Oregon. Oh, wow. Hello, Olivia. Yeah, Glowbug, I would be packing up and moving. Yeah, I didn't know Princess Megan. I love that. You're closer than I thought. That's dealable, you know? Oregon, I can do that. I don't know why I thought you were so much further, but I did. It was 65 yesterday and winter storm today. Yeah, so that's what happened. That's what's happening here. Well, like today it was 80, 82, and it's going to be like, it's not going to be like really, we're going to be fine. But it's going to be like, let me see. I think it said like 60s or something. So today was 83 and tomorrow's 66 and then 58, 47. It's like our weather doesn't know what to do. But they were cleaning out the pool today. Whose birthday? Princess Megan Elsa. How did I not know? Where did it say that? Happy birthday. Whatever you're like. You missed the Carolinas, Tandy? Aw. That's where I thought about. I told Vincent if we moved, we should move to like north or south. Disassociate numbers sometimes daily. Yeah, I do that too. Oh, I'm like that. We were reading through mine today, and I'll tell you, I mean, because it's just like us, but when I was going through them, and I'm sure I'll miss one, I was like, damn, I'm qualified to talk about this. Like, I do have complex or chronic PTSD. I've had it for 15 years. For the last between 10 and 20 years, I've been diagnosed with hypervigilance, ADHD, OCD, chronic anxiety, chronic depression, hypervigilance, already said that. I don't know, name another one. If you name it, I have it. The only thing I don't do is I don't hear voices and I don't see people. And I don't want to cause harm to anybody nor myself. But any of the other questions, I'm like through the roof. So I feel like if I feel like I could talk about some mental health, you know. I've been through the mental health field for a while. But I try to keep it pretty cool. I try to keep it, it's hard. It's a struggle. Especially when especially when you have like seasonal depression and it's like the weather doesn't know what to do. Come to Charlotte. I know, I need to. That would be fun, Summer. You literally said something in the email earlier, and I was like, I didn't even read this email, and then I said it in the chat later that night. So they said that, so they thought that I was bipolar, but maybe it's more manic depression. See, well, I don't come down. That's my problem. I'm up. I don't have that come down. I would love the come down part, to fall asleep for hours and days. But I don't. So that's like, you know, trauma. Yeah. Little OCD. My OCD is bad. Bad. Yeah. Happy birthday, by the way. I bet you're so young. How do you talk about what caused your PTSD? Oh, no, you're fine, Tandy. Mine started, and I talked about it on my channel. My channel used to be a trauma channel. Mine started when my father was killed in a car accident. And the accident was about 10 cars in front of mine. I don't even think it was that many cars. I think I'm exaggerating when I say 10. Now that I'm thinking, I'm like, I want to say more like 5. And then I went home a different way. I didn't see his car. I didn't know that it was his car. But my dad never stayed out late, ever. Not past like 4 o'clock work days, work hour, you know. When I walked in my mom and dad's house, my mom was sitting there and she said, your dad's not home yet. And that's when I knew. And I went into a, you know, you either do fight, flight, or freeze. I did a flight on out of there. I fell asleep even. And then I had officers banging on my door, on the siding on my house, on my window, because they knew which bedroom was mine. I live in a small town. I grew up next to one of the officers. And I still continue to fall back asleep. Like fall back asleep, fully asleep until they, because they would stop knocking for a minute and I go to sleep. It was just something my body was like, if you go to sleep, this isn't real, And so, and then the next day I woke up and went to go eat with my friend like nothing even happened. Like, so, people take things and people do things really a lot differently. And that was when my dad passed. And then when, shit. A lot of shit's happened since then. But then when my mom passed, I went into, at first I was a little extroverted still. I still would go out for a little bit. But about 4 months in, completely different, very recluse. So yes, no, it is. It's very, very sad. And then, I'll have to tell you about the night of my accident too, because I almost didn't die just because of the accident. I'll have to tell you that story, but he almost tried to kill me another way. So I think about that a lot. PTSD is awful. I hope no one has to ever deal with it. And knocking on the door, like, because of the cops pounding on the door, everyone has to do that friendly knock, that dun, 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 dun. And then I'm cool with that. Like our front door actually needs some WD-40, like as it squeaks when you open it a little bit. But I love that because it's like an extra security thing, like I could hear it. It helps. So weirdos, Eddie said. I have the worst anxiety I've ever. I don't know. My anxiety gets so bad. I just want to I don't know. Vincent's the only person that calmed me down. If it wasn't for him, get you a Vincent. Because I think also I'm going to go back to the doctor for it. They had mentioned before they thought that I had, what's it called? Vertigo. They had mentioned they thought I had vertigo, and I've been having these freezing spells where I can't move. Like I'm in the bed and I'm just and I'm stuck. Benzo won't even touch it, Eddie. I mean, it will, but it would have to be something pretty strong. And I need something before I freak out on everybody. Oh, thank you, Dandy. Oh, I wish I had half your guys' courage and strength. Believe y'all, it's hard. Hard some days. That's why I come on and talk to you guys. Because y'all make me feel better. And then Eddie says, Eddie goes, you need a fence. I know you have. I know we're getting ready to get off here too. Actually, this one's pretty short one today. Hour and a half. Not too bad. It was a good one though. I really just wanted to get, Trent's name back out there, make sure people don't forget about him because he's a good kid, you can tell. And I hope everybody feels better that they got to talk about their PTSD a little bit tonight or their anxiety. And I'm sure I can give you more. When I printed out my papers from Ohio State, it's just the papers that tell you your diagnosis. It was pretty thick. I was like, dang guys. And it lists the metal and stuff and the implants. And I was like, that's a lot. Got a lot going there. So if you are just now joining us, don't forget to watch us on replay. And I'm going to put the link, I'm going to paste it in here because we are going to do a members only live again soon. I want to try to do one with trivia or do something with I don't know, something fun. I want to do something AI so that way I can play it with you guys. And I promise I won't cheat because I don't know how. Maybe we'll put I have a the iPad. Maybe we'll put the iPad up so you could see the questions. So I'm not cheating. I don't know. Because I'm not the greatest at trivia. I think it'd be fun. We could do because our group is our age is all over the place. So I figured maybe 90s or 80s, 90s, or 2000s trivia. Yeah, and we'll be triggered. Yeah, April 20th already. It is April 20th. And if you guys didn't see earlier, you'll have to check it out. Earlier, I showed the picture of my first setup ever on YouTube. It said 3 years ago, like today or the other day, that I posted my first video. So you love the 80s and the 90s. See, I figured that would be good too. I'm not a big, like, I don't know, like 2010 and on, but I know like the early 2000s. So maybe a mix of all three. Yeah, that'd be fun. Maybe we could do like one each night or something, or one each live or something. That'd be fun. The 90s are blurred. Maybe I'll dress up in some 90s clothes. I need something like neon. I own nothing neon, but I would get something. So, oh, and I'm still looking into, I'm going to look into Zoom too, because I have that wrote down. Where did I write that down? There it is. I'm like, where did I write that stuff down? So I'm going to get off here, but I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here tonight. I appreciate it. I did upload 2 pre-recorded videos yesterday, just like update videos. And then I did one today. I released it. It's on Trent. And then tomorrow I have one coming out. I believe it's on Madalena Kochikari. So be on the lookout for those. And I will see you guys all tomorrow. Bye, guys.